Hi, this is Brad Smith from BeerSmith.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a very simple wine recipe in BeerSmith 3. You're going to record recipes for wine kits, wine made from grape juice extract, or even pressed from the grape. So I'm going to start by clicking on the Add Recipe button up here to add a new recipe. I'm going to give it a name, make it a Merlot this time. I'm going to pick a type. It's very important that you go over here and pick the wine type, which will put the program basically in wine mode with this recipe. Next, I'll click on the equipment name and pick an equipment profile I want to work with. In this case, I'm looking for a standard batch of wine, which is down here at the bottom. A 6-gallon batch of wine is pretty typical for a lot of home winemakers. And next I'll go down and pick a style of wine, and there's actually a pretty extensive wine style guide here you can see. In this case I'm making a Merlot, so I'll just pick Merlot, making it from the juice. Next I'll go in and start adding ingredients, and I'll start with the wine base, and you can do this by Brie value. I've got some Merlot juice that's 23 Brie, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to add 6 gallons of it to the primary. And so that gives us a base juice, right? And if I wanted to, I could go on and even adjust that Brie value just a little bit to exactly match what I have measured from the wine base that I have. And now you can start adding other ingredients. So for example, I could add some bentonite for finding clarity. I could add, of course, I need some yeast. I like RC212 right here. The Loveland is a nice yeast to use for this particular style. I could add some clarity aids, like Super Clear is one that I like to use in the secondary, and so on. I mean, I could add oak chips. There's a number of other things I could add to this particular style of wine, just depending on what it is. But I think you get the general idea. So I can build out my recipe with all the ingredients that I'm using here. And I can go down here and pick a beverage color. If I don't like the one that's already picked, I can pick one maybe a little darker for my Merlot. Down at the bottom here, I have carbonation and fermentation options. I'm going to bottle this with no carbonation. And fermentation, I'm going to pick a sort of a premium wine aging profile, if you will. And that's it. I mean, that's the basic idea behind building a recipe. Obviously, there's a few more ingredients I could add. But, it's a nice place to record everything. It does show me what my estimated starting gravity should be. It'll show me what my estimated final gravity should be. And I'm looking at about a 13% wine, which is pretty robust. There's a number of other features here. If I go to the starter page, I can look at, it'll give me dry yeast hydration options for working with this particular wine, as well as some recommendations in terms of how much yeast I need. I might need another, well, it's not too bad, but maybe just a little bit over a pack for this particular one. I can go over here to the session tab, and it gives me, important things like how much, what's the volume and weight of the fermentals that I'm putting into it. I can actually record my original gravities and so on. There's a built-in sulfite calculator, so I can make final sulfite adjustments, by measuring the pH. And if you have a sulfite test kit, you can even factor that in here to make sure you get the sulfite levels just right when you're done with the wine. And then there's a number of other options here, including, I can take readings, fermentation readings, periodically as the thing's fermenting, and sort of track its progress as I go. And it'll show me versus days how that is progressing. Over here I can add detailed notes, and it'll show the batch age up here on the right. So I could say, at 60 days I did this, at 80 days I did this, and so on. So quite a bit of flexibility there. Of course, I can click on the brew step button here and basically get step-by-step instructions with all the ingredients, so I don't forget anything when I'm making the wine. And then for long-term tracking, there actually is a calendar built in. It lets you track important things. You can see some of the other batches I've got here, but it lets you track important events. And there's even a notes feature. I have to go up here to recipes, notes, where I can add additional items to the calendar. So if I want to track, maybe I want to do something on a particular day and it's not on the calendar, maybe I want to go in and check the sulfite level, or I may want to check the gravity at some point. I can add those as well, and they'll show up on the calendar. So that's the basic features for creating a wine recipe inside of BeerSmith 3. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to my website at beersmith.com. Where I have more videos. I have recipes, discussion forums, articles, a podcast, and of course you can download a 21-day trial version of BeerSmith 3 there. Again, the website is beersmith.com.